Prime Minister Narendra Modi scheduled to hold a virtual bilateral summit with his Italian counterpart Giuseppe Conte today. Both the Prime Ministers will review in detail the broad framework of bilateral relations and exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual concern. Improved ease of doing business for IT industry, particularly business process outsourcing, that is BPO and IT-enabled services, as government drastically simplifies other service provider guidelines for telecom department. Prime Minister reiterates commitment to make India a technical hub. Second day of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to West Bengal. Home Minister scheduled to hold a number of meetings with party workers in Kolkata today. Will also meet BSF officers at Kolkata. Eighth round of Corps commander level talks between Indian Army and Chinese PLA today. Talks aimed at carrying forward negotiations on disengagement process in eastern Ladakh. Army Chief General Narawane on 3-day Nepal visit to call on Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli today. Army Chief conferred the rank of Honorary General of the Nepali Army by President Vidyadevi Bhandari. Bihar all set for assembly polls as campaigning for third and final phase ends. 78 assembly constituencies spread over 15 districts will go to polls on Saturday, counting of votes on 10th November. Democrat Joe Biden inches nearer to victory over President Donald Trump. The exceedingly close U.S. election now hinges on razor-thin margin in a handful of states. Trump launches multiple lawsuits. Good morning, you're watching DD India and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get an account of everything that's been making it to the headlines. Our top story first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today hold a virtual bilateral summit with his Italian counterpart Giuseppe Conte. The virtual bilateral summit will be giving an opportunity to the two leaders to comprehensively review the broad framework of the bilateral relationship and exchange views on major regional and global issues of mutual concern. Several government-to-government and private sector agreements or MOUs are under finalization and will be concluded on this occasion. India and Italy share a warm and multifaceted relationship based on strong historical ties, common democratic traditions, rule of law, and a shared goal of international peace and stability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the virtual Global Investor Roundtable, where he pitched India as a favorable investment destination to the global investors. The roundtable was an exclusive dialogue between leading global institutional investors, Indian business leaders, and the highest decision makers from the Government of India and financial market regulators. Let's listen in to what Prime Minister said in his address.
To become Atmanirbhar is not just a vision, but a well-planned economic strategy. A strategy that aims to use the capabilities of our businesses and skills of our workers to make India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. India bravely fought the global pandemic. The world saw India's national character. The world also saw India's true strength. It is successfully brought out traits that Indians are known for. India has shown remarkable resilience in this pandemic, be it fighting the virus or ensuring economic stability. Our recent reforms in agriculture open up new possibilities to partner with the farmers in India. With the help of technology and modern processing solutions, India will soon emerge as an agriculture export hub. India offers you democracy, demography, demand, as well as diversity, such as our diversity that you get multiple markets within one market. This comes with multiple pocket size and multiple preferences. If you want returns with reliability, India is the place to be. If you want demand with democracy, India is the place to be. If you want stability with sustainability, India is the place to be. If you want growth with a green approach, India is the place to be. Friends, India's growth has the potential to catalyze global economic resurgence. Any achievements by India will have a multiplier impact on world's development and welfare.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet has reiterated his commitment to furthering the ease of doing business and making India a tech hub. The Government of India has significantly simplified other service provider guidelines of Telecom Department. Compliance burdens of BPO industry will be greatly reduced due to this. Now, registration requirement for OSPs has been done away with altogether. The BPO industry engaged in data-related work is out of the ambit of the OSP regulations. Many other requirements have been done away with, and these steps will further flexibility and productivity. On the second day of his West Bengal visit, Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah will hold a number of meetings with party workers in Kolkata today. The Home Minister will also hold a meeting with Border Security Force officers. He also held a meeting with CRPF IG in Bankura on Thursday. Earlier on Friday, the Home Minister paid homage to Birsa Munda in Bankura. Shah said that BJP will build a golden Bengal if voted to power in the state. Shah said that BJP will form a two-third majority government in the state after next year's polls. Home Minister will also hold key meet with CRPF and BSF officials. Amit Shah says that national security is linked to Bengal's security. 8th round of Corps commander level talks between Indian Army and Chinese PLA will be held today at the line of actual controls Chushul in eastern Ladakh. The Indian delegation at the 8th round of military talks will be led by Lieutenant General P.J.K. Menon, the newly appointed commander of the Leh-based 14 Corps. The talks are aimed to carry forward negotiations on disengagement process in eastern Ladakh. The last round of Corps commander level talks had taken place on October 12th. A joint press statement by the two armies after the last round of talks said that both the sides agreed to maintain dialogue and communication through military and diplomatic channels to arrive at a mutually acceptable solution for disengagement as early as possible. Army Chief General M.M. Narvane, who is on a 3-day visit to Nepal, will today call on Nepalese Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli in Kathmandu. Earlier, the Army Chief was conferred the rank of Honorary General of Nepal Army by President Bidya Devi Bhandari at an investiture ceremony on Thursday. The Army Chief also met his Nepalese counterpart, General Thapa, and presented medical equipment for 2 field hospitals of Nepali Army, X-ray machines, computed radiography systems, ICU ventilators, video endoscopy units, anesthesia machines, lab equipment and ambulances. He's on a visit to Nepal after receiving invitation from Nepal Army Chief General Purna Chandra Thapa. In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces today killed 1 unidentified terrorist in an operation which is still undergoing in Meej area of Pampore in South Kashmir's Avantipura. Official sources said that terrorists attacked the search party on Thursday. The fleeing terrorists were chased and tracked down in nearby area of Pampore. 2 civilians were injured, one of them critical after the terrorist attack on search party of the security forces. Up next, we get you updates from the poll-bound state of Bihar. In Bihar, third and final phase of polling will be held tomorrow in 78 assembly constituencies spread over 15 districts of Simanchal, Kosi, Tirhut and Mithilanchal, also Saran. Over 2.35 crore voters will decide the political fate of 1,204 candidates, including 110 female contestants in the third phase. In this phase, BJP is contesting 35 seats and its partner JDU in 37 assembly constituencies it will be contesting. In the opposition, that is Grand Alliance, RJD is contesting on 46 and Congress on 25 seats. Lok Janshakti Party has fielded 42 candidates, while Rashtriya Lok Samata Party is contesting on 23 seats. Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel is on a 3-day visit to Varanasi. She visited Anganwadi centers and primary schools of Sevapuri block. The governor said that Anganwadis have been playing a significant role in improving health and providing education to women.
सरकार के लिए और समाज दोनों के लिए महिला का शिक्षण और बच्चों का शिक्षण और संस्कार और उसका हेल्थ ये प्रायोरिटी में होना चाहिए। आंगनवाड़ी में जाना, बच्चों से बातचीत करना, बच्चों को मिलना, आंगनवाड़ी जो बनी है उसके दीवारों पर क्या है, क्या लिखा हुआ है, बच्चे वो देखकर पढ़े, माताएं जो आती है वहाँ सगर्भा माता आती है तो उनकी गोद भराई होती है, तो उसी समय भी उसको थोड़ा सा मार्गदर्शन दिया जाता है। तो ये देखकर मुझे भी काफ़ी खुशी हुई कि धीरे धीरे करके हमारी आंगनवाड़ी की ओर समाज का भी ध्यान गया है और सरकार का भी ध्यान गया है।
Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel also said that new education policy has laid special emphasis on ameliorating the research in universities. She further added that research should always be in welfare of the society.
हमारा जो रिसर्च वर्क है वो अभी तक जिस दिशा में होना चाहिए वो दिशा में नहीं है और इसी वजह से ये नई शिक्षा नीति में ये आमेज किया गया है कि रिसर्च कैसा होना चाहिए और वो जो समितियां बनेगी वो समिति तय करेगी कि इस विषय पर आपकी रिसर्च होगी। हमारा रिसर्च वर्क ऐसा होना चाहिए जो समाज को उपयोगी है और हमारा रिसर्च वर्क पर बहुत ही ध्यान दिया गया है और रिसर्च के लिए पूरा एक फाउंडेशन बनने वाला है और वो फाउंडेशन रिसर्च के बारे में यूनिवर्सिटियों को गाइड करेगा और रिसर्च का विषय भी तय करेगा।
Up next, we get you an update on the COVID-19 situation from across the country. India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. With recovery of more than 77.65 lakh people so far, the national recovery rate has reached 92.32%. Around 77 lakh 66,000 patients have recovered across the country so far. The active caseload of the country has further fallen below 6.19%. The total positive cases in the country stand at 5,20,773. 54,157 people recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours. With high number of COVID patients recovering every day, along with steadily falling and sustained low mortality rate, India's trend of registering decreasing active cases continues. The Health Ministry said that this fatality rate has reduced the fatality rate, which rather currently stands at 1.49%. Also, the government has issued revised guidelines for international arrivals. Before planning to travel, all travellers must submit their self-declaration form on the online portal www.newdelhiairport.in at least 72 hours before the scheduled travel or physically after arrival at the respective health counters. They should also give an undertaking through concerned airlines before they are allowed to undertake the journey that they would abide by the decision of appropriate government authority to undergo facility or home quarantine or self-monitoring of their health for 14 days. Home quarantine may be permitted for 14 days only for compelling reasons such as pregnancy, death in family, serious illness and parents with children of the age of 10 years or below. Travellers may also seek exemption from institutional quarantine by submitting a negative RT-PCR test report. This test should have been conducted within 72 hours prior to undertaking the journey. International passengers arriving without any RT-PCR negative certificate and wishing to seek exemption from institutional quarantine may also avail the facility available at the airports to undergo RT-PCR testing. International passengers arriving without RT-PCR negative certificate and not opting for RT-PCR test at the airports will have to undergo mandatory 7 days institutional quarantine and 7 days home quarantine. On arrival, the passengers found to be symptomatic during screening shall be immediately isolated and taken to medical facility as per health protocols. States can have any additional restrictions imposed with regard to quarantine and isolation as per their field assessment post arrival of the passengers in the state concerned. Delhi's air quality continues to remain at alarming levels. Latest weather data showed the capital city and its adjoining areas are set to see further deterioration in the air quality index. According to the weather department, air quality could even fall to severe levels. Poor visibility because of a thick haze that engulfed around Delhi NCR due to rise of pollutants in the atmosphere. Air quality index is at 422 in Anand Vihar, 407 in R.K. Puram, 421 in Dwarka, Sector 8 and 430 in Bhavana, all in the severe category as per the Central Pollution Control Board. Air quality is expected to dip further owing to prevailing meteorological conditions. And up next, we begin our international updates. First, we get to the sense of what is happening when we talk of the US presidential elections. Americans will have to wait for some more time to know the clear winner of the closely fought election between Republican President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden, as the final outcome hinged on a few states on Thursday where a flood of mail-in ballots triggered by COVID-19 pandemic was still being counted. 2 days after the presidential election, Biden is nearing the magical figure of 270 electoral votes to win the race to White House. With the former U.S. Vice President bagging 253 votes as compared to 213 won by Trump, the results in 6 states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, Alaska and Nevada, are yet to be declared, as officials counted millions of votes, some that were cast on Tuesday and many more during weeks of early voting amidst the surging pandemic. Earlier on Thursday, speaking from his campaign headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware, Biden appealed for calm across the country. In a brief televised address, the Democratic challenger again expressed confidence that he would be declared the winner. Donald Trump, however, still insists that Democrats are trying to steal the election from him and that he would win if legal votes are counted. He also hinted that the entire electoral process and outcomes will undergo legal scrutiny. His campaign has already launched a number of lawsuits demanding a halt to the counts. Trump is leading the states of Pennsylvania, North Carolina and Georgia, while Biden is narrowing the gap in Georgia and Pennsylvania. If Trump wins Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina and Pennsylvania, the result would be a tie. American presidential elections are decided not by popular vote but by securing a majority in the state-by-state electoral college, which has 538 members. The U.S. Elections Project estimated total turnout at a record 160 million voters, including more than 101.1 million early voters, 65.2 million of whom voted by mail. Up next, we take a look at the global situation when we talk of COVID-19 from across the world. The virus has infected more than 4 crore 90 lakh people so far, taking over 12 lakh 36,000 lives, while the number of recoveries have crossed 3 crore 49 lakh worldwide. US continues to be battered by COVID-19 the most, with over 99 lakh 17,000 cases of infection and 2 lakh 40,000 fatalities, followed by Brazil with over 1 lakh 61,000 deaths from the virus so far. As Britain has entered the second countrywide lockdown to tackle the rising number of COVID-19 cases, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that there was light at the end of the tunnel on COVID-19. He also expressed hope that Britain could return to some form of normalcy before Christmas. The United Kingdom has the biggest official death toll in Europe from COVID-19 and is grappling with more than 11 lakh 23,000 cases of infections. Belgium's hospitals are running short of intensive care units and beds as COVID-19 cases swell in the country. Air ambulances have been flying Belgian patients of the viral disease to Germany. Belgium had among the highest death toll per capita from the first COVID-19 wave in March-April. So far, it has caseload of over 4,68,210 cases with more than 12,330 fatalities. And we are talking of Poland as COVID-19 cases are spiraling up in the country. Ambulances in the country had to spend hours in queue to get patients admitted. Hospitals in Poland are scrambling for COVID-19 beds and shortages of medical staff. It has reported over 4,66,000 cases of the virus with more than 6,840 deaths, putting unprecedented strain on its healthcare system. In more international news, all the 15 people arrested in connection with the gunmen's rampage in central Vienna on Monday are part of the radical Islamist scene. And according to the authorities, Austrian intelligence received a tip-off from their Slovak counterparts in July, which ultimately led to the arrests. Also, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation has supplied essential information into the crime. The 20-year-old Vienna native, who had previously been jailed for trying to join Islamic State in Syria, was shot dead by police within 9 minutes of opening fire on bystanders on Monday. He killed 4 people. And Stormetta unleashed torrential rains and catastrophic flooding in Central America, killing at least 18 people and turning streets into waist-high water channels. One of the fiercest storms to hit Central America in years, Stormetta struck Nicaragua as a Category 4 hurricane on November 3rd, with winds of 150 miles per hour before weakening as it moved inland and its neighboring Honduras. Across parts of Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala and Costa Rica, high winds and heavy rains have damaged homes, roads and bridges, forcing thousands to take cover in shelters. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has forecast ETA to return to sea and regain momentum as a tropical storm, reaching Cuba and southern Florida in the coming days. Let's talk of sports now. Saudi Arabia will host a Formula One Grand Prix for the first time next year, with a night race on the streets of the country's second city, Jeddah. The November race will be the third in the Middle East, along with Bahrain and Abu Dhabi, subject to confirmation of the 221 calendar. Now, this will be the second F1 Grand Prix race in the first night. The first F1 Grand Prix was held in Singapore. The motorsports has seen steady growth in Saudi Arabia over the past few years, including the Dakar Rally and all-electric Formula E Series races. Formula One's current season has been restricted by COVID-19 pandemic to 17 races in Europe and the Middle East, but the sport is hoping for a fuller season next year. In tennis, Rafael Nadal beat Australian Jordan Thompson in straight sets to reach the Paris Masters quarterfinals. Top seed Nadal got the better of Thompson 6-1, 7-6 to set up a last-8 clash with fellow Spaniard Pablo Carreño Busta. World number 61 Thompson missed a set point to force a decider in his first meeting with a 20-time Grand Slam champion. And India's Rohan Bopanna and Austrian Oliver Marasch will face Jürgen Meher and Edward Roger in quarterfinals today. Earlier, Rohan Bopanna and partner Oliver Marasch of Austria beat 9th seed Fabrice Martin and Jean-Julien Roger for 3-6, 6-4, 10-6, 10-8 in the round of 16. And up next, we'll take you back home, in fact, to Arunachal Pradesh. The road in lower Dibang Valley, while passing through different villages, touches Abali village, where one small signboard indicates Rewatch Museum inside the village road. Now, this museum is dedicated to tribal traditions and cultures, not only from the northeastern region of India, but also going to include world tribal cultural traditions. Take a look.
The Research Institute of World Ancient Traditional Cultures and Heritage, Rewatch, is expanding its cultural and academic works. Rewatch Executive Director Vijay Swami says the museum, which is built with support of the Union Ministry of Culture, is just not an exhibition of tribal communities, but is also a platform to provide linkages with tribal tradition from all over the world.
This traditional knowledge is held by the local communities, ethnic communities, and Northeast India, for that matter, having more than 400 ethnic communities, And that's why it is a hub of traditional knowledge. So much of cultural diversity and so much knowledge that they have actually. And it is very much relevant to the 21st century. We thought it fit that we must establish an institute of a research kind of thing where the local communities will do the research on their own traditions, own knowledge, own wisdom, own traditional cultural heritage, and this is how the rewatch came up.
The museum has many artifacts depicting the life of tribal societies and history. Several artifacts were presented by people, and some of the exhibits are several decades or a century old.
आप जो यहाँ देख रहे हैं, this all are Arunachali articles contributed by the people free of cost, and that's why we call it as People's Museum. इसलिए जो लोग आते हैं, जिन्होंने contribution दिया, they have a free access at any time to this museum. For your information, this is the first wing. The second wing, which will be dedicated to Northeast India, and there will be third wing, which will be coming. It will be called as Museum of International Understanding, because all ethnic communities of the world, they think alike. भारतीय संस्कृति के मुताबिक वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, we all are related.
In the Rewatch Study and Research Center, now foreign scholars are also starting to come. Museum authorities feel that this center will not only be the center for studies of culture in northeastern India, but will be a center of research and learning for all tribal cultures from India and around the world. Sanjay Pratap Singh, DD News, Lower Dimang Valley, Arunachal.
All right, with that, we end this bulletin here. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.